We on? Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Muni Misfits.
Welcome to Muni Misfits.
I'm Matt Cook, and I'm at Rose Creek Golf Course and Prairiewood Golf Course. And to my left, to your right, Greg McCullough, who is at Edgewood Golf Course and the Zag, El Zagle Golf Course. And to my right is an empty seat. He's kind of an empty suit, isn't he?
Usually.
Yeah.
Now he's not even here. Now he's even boycotted us.
I guess so. You had missed one. I probably missed a couple or so. So I think Chris just thought it was time that he was able to take vacation from the Muni Misfits today.
We can't blame him having to hang out with us, but we
True.
can blame him because
Tori's
he gets
back.
to hang out with Tori.
Yes.
I mean, that's usually an automatic deal.
T Swifty herself. Tori's going back to Taylor Swift. She had so much fun the first time.
Spiritual experience.
Spiritual experience.
Golf is supposed to be a spiritual experience.
If you guys can get Taylor to come golf with me, I will golf every day of the year.
We've got a Taylor that would play.
Any Taylor Swift? That's what I was just going to say.
Oh.
All right, Matt.
Cool.
What's going on? What's going on in Fargo Golf?
I'm kind of digging this weather.
Yes.
70s is kind of right up my alley. 80s gets a little warm for me as far as on the golf course, and it's been pleasant. And you know what? The golf course, things have not slowed down. The golf course, both at Rose Creek and Prairiewood, have been very, very busy. We continue to kind of pump out some events here and there. The leagues have remained strong. So no, it's going good, even though we're kind of probably on the back end of the season. We're kind of starting to have that slide already. Days are getting shorter and shorter. Sometimes, even though I'm there all the time, I still kind of have a tough time adjusting to that sometimes. I'm thinking like, yeah, you should be able to go out at 8 o'clock and play golf, but that's not the case. And so I was busy this morning working on my tee sheet, adjusting those times, just not to mislead anybody. So I don't know what's going on at Edgewood and El Zagle.
Kind of the same. We're into this. It's a lull a little bit because everybody's thinking about going back to school. On a great note, we don't have any the junior golf, Discover Junior Golf, and most of the junior golf events are now over because why? Kids, their season started in North Dakota. Class B started 2 weeks ago. Class A started last week, and I know they're starting to have tournaments. So, the junior golf kind of shifts from individual play to now they have team play through that first week of October. Both Edgewood and El Zagle, we got 3.5 inches of rain, which was awesome. That tells you how dry we actually were because I'm guessing a day later, maybe you could hardly even tell we had some rain. I know they had 4 inches at El Zagle, which was really good too. So the golf courses have kind of perked up. And when we lose sunshine and daylight, and we've been so dry, the golf course kind of wilts a little. And, for the next month, this is a great time to play because, like you said, the weather tends to be a little cooler at times. The days are shorter, but the weather's cooler. Golf courses, usually handle that a little bit better than 95 for 15 hours a day. Leagues have been good. We got, we have Oak Grove JV and we have Fargo North girls playing at our place. We have at least one corporate event kind of a week going right now. So those have been good. Men's and ladies leagues are still playing. And we've got in August, September, we have, I believe, 3 Glow Golf tournaments at El Zagle. So if you go to Fargo Park's website and you can click on what format is, I think they're on Thursdays starting probably the 17th or 24th. So you can go sign up for those. Those are kind of cool. We don't, we just have those 3. It is kind of an expensive endeavor. So we don't do other private ones or anything, but it's kind of cool to play at night if you like to do that.
I bet that is. You've had pretty good success there, right? A lot of those have filled.
Yeah, again, we kind of limit the number of players because it's, obviously it's at night. We don't want to be there all night. And we don't want our patrons to be there all night. Our neighborhood doesn't want us to be there all night. So there are limits as to number of players. There's different people, I believe, that are in there in different formats. So if you go to fargoparks.com and find, is that correct, Tori? fargoparks.com? Yes, that's correct. Find Glow Golf. Google Glow Golf at El Zagle and all the dates will come up. So
Speaking of tournaments, maybe I'm a week off, but did you just have your club tournament last weekend?
we did last Saturday.
I-
Yep,
I-
Mike Holm, congratulations. Mike won by 2 shots. Yeah, it was good. 27 holes. We avoided the rain. So that was the day that later in the day we got 3.5 inches of rain.
Wow.
It was encroaching on it, but it was a great day. We had 118 players. Thanks to everybody that played. It was awesome. Always a good time to have club tournaments.
And Mike Holm, had he won that previously? Or?
He had. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How was the battle there as far as was it even close, or did he always kind of have a comfortable lead?
You know,
or?
he shot 71 even par for the first 18, and the next lowest score was 75, which surprised me a little bit because we had 36 guys play championship flight. It was a good field. And then at one point, both Cody Baker and Austin Streifel cut it to 2. And I'm going to jab Austin a little because I jabbed him on our last show. What should you shoot if you hit at 350? I took a lot of heat from that from his contingent that I was picking on him. I wasn't picking on him. I was just picking on people hit at 350 in general. What should you usually shoot?
I would love to give it an opportunity to see what I would shoot. I'm about 90 yards short of that. So
just wait till you get to be my age. It gets worse. Gravity increases as you get older.
Oh,
so no, it was good. Yeah, we're again, we're in that kind of shoulder season. We have a good month now. August is usually a good month to play. September is usually a good month to play. We have enough daylight at the end of the day that you can still play right after work, and get some holes in. So golf courses are all really good, and we expect that to continue. I know that all of us have, our next maintenance scheduling deal is airification. I don't know what you guys do. We're going to do a little different airification process. We haven't pulled cores for a long time, so our process is a little less invasive, other than the fact they need time to do it. But usually a day after they do it, we're in good shape.
I think we're kind of similar as far as on the south side as well. I don't know if they're done ever pulling cores, but it seems like they've went away from that, which has been nice because, they can kind of knock it out in a day for one, which is nice rather than kind of killing 2 days on that. And like you said, it seems like the bounce back's a lot quicker as far as the healing process. And, you can really, even the next day is not terrible. And within a couple of days, it seems like if you have good weather, it can be really pretty good.
I think if things go according to what Jason Spitzner, our superintendent, would like to do with new equipment and technology, I think we're done pulling cores.
Yeah, it's probably true.
So he can change the soil composition with other ways to do it. It's still invasive, but way less invasive than pulling cores and throwing stuff in. So I think as golfers, we have a short window here. Airification is one of those things that we used to have to do, and we still have to do it at times and in places. But I think their process has gotten a lot better, so it's not nearly as intrusive as it used to be.
Yeah, I saw like something, you probably saw this too, I think on Twitter, and I want to say it might have been Hazeltine Golf Course. They were doing theirs, and it was a process I'd never seen before. It was like, for one, they were doing like 5/8-inch tines, I think, that they had pulled cores. But then they almost did this process of like dumping sand on the green and pushing it like with brooms to actually, fill those holes, get, the perfections, I suppose, kind of reduced by kind of spreading that on out. And I was like, oh my goodness, those are some pretty good sized greens. Can't imagine how long that process must have taken. Typically, even in the old days when they would, pull cores, you'd usually either back in the day push them off like with a shovel or something like that, which was in itself pretty painful. And then as things have developed, they got more technology and more equipment, they'd have like a core harvester. So basically it would just be able to kind of pick up those cores. You would kind of take away a lot of the manual labor. But then they would run a top dresser over it, to kind of lightly put a layer of top dressing to try to fill those holes back in once again, get things hopefully up to playing quickly. But this was a different process. I was kind of curious of why they would go down that avenue, but you probably didn't see that.
I have not seen that actually. No. Yeah. But again, they're, the technology for all the superintendents, and we always give a shout out to them because, 7 months of crazy golf with weather conditions that may or may not be favorable for you. It takes a lot of work, and thankfully we've been busy. So the timing that they've been able to do stuff sometimes, makes a golf course not perfect in what they would like to do, because they actually need time and zero play to recovery. They're just basically not recovering. They're just trying to hang on as much as they can. So shout out to all of our superintendents everywhere that have done a really good job this year. And again, we'll plug a little employment here. We're all hiring. All the golf courses are hiring, maintenance, pro shops, We need driving range help at Edgewood. So if you're looking for a part-time job and we can be flexible, go out to Fargo Parks and apply online.
Yeah. Or just looking at picking up a few extra hours, whatever it might be. So
yeah, I mean, you can, again, it can be flexible and it doesn't have to be every day, anything like that. As long as we can, cover some flexibility there, it's greatly appreciated.
Tori, you looking at filling your weekends? I could use some pro shop help. So,
Okay.
no, and we're already at the third leg of like the Lakes tournament. So, I mean,
Yes.
the DL Country Club's hosting the Pine to Palm this week. You almost know then that summer's over once that complete. It seems like it's just all downhill from there.
No, it's not, man. It's it's only the 11th of August. Come
That's
on.
true.
Now,
And
it might be over at the Lakes areas a little bit, but they still
Right.
have good 3 weeks before school gets going. So, as far as big tournament golf, probably this is the culmination of the season.
Yeah. No, you're right though. We've got the last couple seasons have been amazing all the way through the end of October. I can't believe how good the weather's been through the end of October. And what's really kind of cool is starting September 1st, we do have our fall season passes first sales beginning at September 1st. They're valid September 1st. And so if anybody's kind of like thinking, wow, I've started to play kind of a lot of golf this summer, I forgot to get a season pass, didn't get an opportunity, it's a good time to still buy one because you might have a good 60 days of golf still left. And as far as good as the value of those are, so it doesn't take too many rounds to make that pay for itself.
Yep.
So it's a good opportunity, and hopefully we will. How far do you kind of run even your league activities? Will you go into the end of or latter part of October with potentially men's or women's? Or?
Our men's league doesn't stop, so we'll keep going on Tuesdays. We'll obviously have to change the times and things, but our men's league keeps going through the whole season. Our ladies league usually that second week of September, just because of time frame of the evening league. The morning league will keep playing if they want to keep playing, but the evening league, because of time and after work schedules, and it gets dark a little quicker, they'll probably finish that. I think that's the second week in September. But again, we still have like 4 or 5 weeks of that left.
Right. Yep. No, we're kind of on the same boat as well. So, this is the first week also as far as PGA Tour playoffs. A lot of guys are trying to work their way as far as now into the top 50 for next week.
Yep.
Tom Hoagie's one of those guys that was kind of on the bubble.
Yep.
Was he going about 46th or 47th going in, maybe roughly?
I think 44th. Yep.
44th. Okay. So, like I say, top 50 move on. And I think he's fired probably 3 under first day.
Had a good day yesterday. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's kind of positioning himself to kind of keep him right in there anyway.
Again, like you said, big week, not only to get in the top 50 so you get to keep playing, but the top after this week, that top 50 for next year gets in all the elevated events.
Oh, sure.
So for all those, for everybody, but for those guys that are within 30 to 50, and this week the points are like more. So even Tom was tied for 11th, I think, after day one yesterday, and he moved up like 2 spots.
Did he? Okay.
So there's not you have to. He's going to need 3 more good days here to stay in the top 50. He's had a great season anyway, but I think, again, one of his goals obviously would be to make the Tour Championship, which is top 30. But I believe after this week, the top 50, and that's a big carrot there.
It really is, especially when you're talking like some of those are going to be no cut events. So
yes.
It's like guaranteed dollars and points, I suppose.
Yes.
And all of those are going to be escalated anyway. And so, and then, of course, I think the top 30 even brings you some more benefits, correct? As far as you're talking
all the
exemptions.
majors and yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to play for. So hopefully Friday's a good day and we'll see how the weekend goes. If things all go great, it'd be great to see if he couldn't kind of start moving closer and closer to that 30 mark anyway in preparation for the following week.
And his automatic exemptions are now over, right? He when he won at Pebble 2.5 years ago, this is his second year of that. So at the end of this year, he's back to his status that he's had, where he's got to stay in the top 125 or top 70 to keep playing. So a big week for him. Shout out to he's been working hard, I know, and he's been a little disappointed. It sounds like at the way he's maybe played, but he had a good day yesterday, and he needs to have 3 more good days. You can't kind of fall off, But you got, again, how hard is the tour? Justin Thomas playing this week? No. So
Adam Scott.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
So it's hard out there, and congratulations, Tom, on another great season. And we hope to get to see you for another couple weeks. We haven't heard any Amy Olsen baby news, have we?
I have not.
No, I haven't either.
No.
She did a clinic at Village Green. Russ Nelson, Sanford, I think, did a clinic at Village Green. So but they got to be in close.
Was
Don't
that
they?
September? Were they talking?
Was
Or I
September?
can't remember.
Oh,
I don't
so
remember.
she's
Maybe
not
it was
even
August.
close yet.
Yeah, I'm not positive.
That makes sense. I'm always early.
Huh. You know, I've heard a lot of good things down in DL this week. Our past Park District employee Zach Foltz, who is the superintendent now in DL, we talked about this I think last week. His team must be doing a great job. They sounds like the greens were rolling pretty quick. Things looking pretty nice down there. Interesting to talk to Tom Dolby after this experience to find out how his first opportunity. I don't know. I wonder if Tom's ever played in it before.
Yes.
Yes.
Tom played in it when I played in it.
Okay.
So I remember Tom playing in it, and Tom is an exceptionally good player anyway, but he also hit the golf ball at that time a long way. So we would always go watch him do the long drive. I didn't know Tom at that time, but I had one of my friends who did the long drive contest here, but Tom would always be in that as well. So I know he played in the would have been the early 80s as well.
So, and maybe you talked about this or maybe you mentioned this already. Speaking of the early 80s, another Tom Lehman, I think, was medalist in 1980 that year. And I think might have gotten bumped like in the second or third round that year. I wonder if Tom Lehman's played in that many times or if that was his only year. But if you ever remember running up against Tim in any of yours? Okay.
I don't remember Tom playing a lot.
That may have been one of the years.
Might have been. I believe he's got a son playing.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what I was kind of leading into is his son Sean is playing, and he got bumped, I think, in the first round against Connor Holland.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of a fun little matchup. I don't know how the match went down as far as how they were playing, but obviously Connor's a very strong player. Connor used to play for NDSU and continues to play very, very well. But there's some exciting matchups. I tell you, it's kind of a little bit of a blend. I mean, there's a few, KG veterans like Rick Kuhn making the cut once again. Then you got even some high schoolers and obviously a lot of college kids, and it's kind of a nice blend once again. But how low were the scores? Do you remember being a cut that low before?
You know what? We talk about this a lot. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know any records per se. I think we over dramatize that a little. I mean, we think it was always 7 or 8 or 9 over. I think like in the early 80s when I played one year, it was 145, which would be
3 over.
4 over, 3 over.
Yeah, which was this year. So it wasn't.
Yeah. So I normally it was. What I found interesting was the second cut to make the second day. Now that cut was lower. If you shot 77 on day one, thanks for playing.
Oh, wow.
You didn't get to play the next day. So 76 to make the second day cut, I thought was extremely good. And, before you couldn't shoot 85, but you could shoot 80, 81,
right.
And probably still make it. But 77, that's pretty good.
And I wonder even beyond the 64, they've cut that a little bit. So I think there's 3 name flights. So you've probably got, is that 16, 32, 48 players, I think in addition will make the cut beyond the championship.
4, I think they have 4 flights.
I think they got rid of one now though. I think they did that last year. So I think they've only got the 3 this year. I think, and I don't know if that was to make room for some more as far as in the senior or super senior. So I think they always had the Pine, the Palm, Melissa, and Sally. And I think now they've eliminated one of those flights last year. So that cut obviously would drop a little bit, but even that too, I think, was at like 7 over or 6 over? I thought that even itself was kind of low
maybe,
too.
But it was low. Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe 150-ish
Right.
might have gotten you into those in the past.
Sure.
But so I don't know. They had, I think from what I remember for the Tuesday, Wednesday, the weather was really pretty good.
Tuesday they got shut down because they got a bad
that's
storm.
right. Yeah.
So they shotgunned them on Wednesday. I was, again, that Wednesday night, actually, if we have any YouTuber, maybe we should do it. We should actually, next year, here's our goal. We're going to go on Wednesday night. We can maybe talk to Tori, see if she can help us. Probably can't because she'll be at a Taylor Swift concert. But we should go and do a show while they're doing the playoff.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because it is craziness there. It is we've talked about this before. I don't want to keep hyping on it, but it is, if you're a golfer and you're in the area and you want to see lives change, and I say change in parentheses there, but it is there's so much carnage Tori. I mean, there's carnage everywhere. People are crying, losing golf balls, trunk slamming. I think we should try to do that next year.
This Wednesday, it's past Wednesday now. My intention was to try to get down there, but then they did the shotguns like you had mentioned. I think they'd had like 3 shotguns because I think they had the people that didn't finish on Tuesday, started out like at about 6:30 in the morning, turned around, had another one like at about 9:30ish for the top 107 or whatever it was in the championship. Then another one like at 2:30 or 3. So I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, I want to know if they'll even have a playoff today. I kind of thought they were going to run out of darkness. I said, I'm not driving down a DL to go watch something that might not happen, but I have been down there for that. And that is a ton of fun in watching that. You may have 5 or 6 individuals battling for, 2 or 3 spots. And
now it's way easier to see what's happening because of technology, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're using Golf Genius, so you see the scores update. At one point, I think it was Wednesday night, about 6 or 6:30, there was 14 people for 2 spots. And I think it ended up to be like only 4. I think 4 or 5, but it's a cool deal.
Ian Simonich, I think, was tied for a low qualifier this year. I think him and Gavin Cronkite out of Lakeville, Minnesota, 8 under total for the 2 days.
Lots of NDSU names there. A couple UND names there.
Yep.
Some high school kids, that are playing locally.
Right. One surprise I thought was, Jack Dudek. I think, he finished 6 under. I think he was tied for 3rd as far as overall qualifier. I think he got bumped the first round. Obviously we've seen him like even when we've done the Red River AM winning a couple years ago and had a pretty good finish this year too, didn't he? And so, but no, it's a great event to get down and watch. Like I say, a wrap up on Sunday. They'll have a championship flight. We'll have 2 matches Saturday, 2 matches Sunday once again. So if people are free after they get done playing rounds at the Fargo golf courses, they should chase on down and catch up on some of that action. I think they'd enjoy it. And I think the weekend's supposed to be pretty fair. I think cooler probably. And
it'll be good.
Yeah. But what do you know, Tori? Anything else happening as far as in your golf world?
So Matt Cook, Tori missed last week. Did I miss last week?
I think we had everybody together.
Okay.
Oh, maybe
Tori
not.
missed last. Tori, I can't remember. Anyway, the last time I was here, Tori was gone. Right? She deserves a break.
Yep.
And she had mentioned that we, as a millennial, and I'm not saying all millennials, but we need to monetize. We need to monetize things. So when we left last week, I monetized some golf for her on her desk. How'd it work, Tori? I'm going tomorrow. Does that mean I have to continue to monetize today to get you go tomorrow?
No, that'll buy me a large bucket of balls.
But you have went to have fun golf, right?
Yes.
You went to a facility that we have in town to just kind of fun golf.
Yes.
Okay, but tomorrow is serious?
Tomorrow's serious. Headphones on.
Listen to a little Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Where are you doing this? Is this a secret?
Yeah.
Can we sneak in and maybe
No.
take some pictures?
No.
Is it in Fargo?
Yeah.
So let's see. Your closest option would be, okay. You should have to take pictures so we really see your improvement.
I'll do some videos.
You
Okay.
heard it here.
Anything specific you'll be working on, or you just,
My slice.
okay.
Right? Is it slice right? Hook left? Right?
Yes. For a
Yeah, so
right-handed
slice.
golfer.
You have like-
I believe, Matt Cook, I believe that one of us can help you with that.
I'm pretty sure last time I was at Edgewood, I hit it.
Did you ring the bell?
Well, I'm pretty sure I went over the right side of the net.
Well, you're getting it in the air. That's good. You're hitting
Oh,
it. You're hitting it
goes-
hard.
It goes far. It just goes as far to the right as it goes straight.
I think that if you would feel comfortable with any of us 3, we could help you with that
All right. Well, that'll be a live Muni Misfits episode.
next week.
Sure. I think I'll be here. I won't be here the
We're-
following week.
We're forcing you to play golf.
Okay.
Hope that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
You just great.
How about
I can
you,
see it-
Matt?
I can
Have
see
you-
it in the
so,
backdrop right now as
have
far
you
as
played
an
any golf?
ambulance sitting there. And
Have you played any golf?
you know what? I did actually.
Good.
Not a lot,
Okay.
but I did get down. So Sophie had played in the Soda Series. They had their Tournament of Champions deal at the Preserve, and she'd never played the Preserve before. And so we took off kind of one late afternoon. Got down there probably the last tee time. They'd probably let us go out as far as at the Preserve, and zipped around quickly and played 18 holes there, so she could kind of play that golf course and get a little bit of feel for it.
So as our listeners are attentively listening to this, because we probably haven't played very much,
Yep.
like a lot of people who play golf, they just time and so was there something you were trying to work on while you were playing, because you haven't played much?
Yep.
So what would be your tip to our thousands and millions of listeners? If you don't play very much, what can you try to work on?
I was, because it's kind of weird. Something I've kind of started doing a little bit is like in the evening time, if I get home, like even post dark or whatever, it's hard for me sometimes to want to even get out and hit golf balls like at Rose Creek, because I sometimes have a tough time just like not talking to people. So it's kind of counterproductive. I'll be out on the range and I start talking with someone. Pretty soon I'm out there 40 minutes and I've wasted all my time and I haven't hit any golf balls. So I'll hit like some golf balls even during the summertime inside my garage. I've got a net actually in there. And so even though I haven't been playing at all, I've still been trying to hit some golf balls and trying to work on certain things. And for me, honestly, one of the biggest things is I'm trying to do a better job of just getting in an impact position that I can compress the golf ball more. And for me, the one thing I've really kind of felt is I'm just really trying to feel for me like that I can kind of get like I'm putting some more pressure on the shaft as I'm just kind of swinging it downward to even get in that position. Because I think sometimes I can kind of get a little bit of position where either I'm kind of pulling up and out of it once again. I get a lot of toe strikes once again. And so I'm honestly kind of a little drill I've been doing is almost like I start to hit like some smaller swings, like almost like chip shots once again. And really for me, as I'm trying to almost feel like I can get kind of, without sounding too complicated, trying to work more on almost like vertical forces going downward into the ground rather than too much horizontal forces.
Right. I mean, that's the trend right now. Right. So everybody's trying to, whatever that push on the ground is. And I have a hard time with that as well.
And I'm not so much thinking so much as far as like, even with my legs, body, stuff like that, but more or less just trying to exert that feeling kind of in the shaft itself. So really kind of feeling down. And it's helped me. I think I'm not saying it's extremely consistent. I know Chris Croach hates that word consistent, but I think I've seen some better strikes anyway with that. And so I've had a ton of time to work on that as far as outdoors once again. But I was working on that hard as far as out on the golf course. And I had some really good shots, hit some clunkers. We were kind of out there, trying to hit some different shots and stuff like that with time. And we had a little bit of extra time to do that. So it was kind of
speed.
Fun. It is because
trying to create some speed.
You are, by doing that, by creating that pressure early in the golf swing, you really are able to create a lot of speed with that. So it's both speed and and being able to get into that position where you can compress the ball, which obviously going to get ball speed as well. And so it really has kind of helped. And so I think like both, and in doing so as well, as far as both kind of putting that pressure down once again, it's almost kind of feeling like I'm being able to get like almost my palm into the back of the golf ball too. So now it's been easier for me to square the club face up easier as well. So I was thinking of like Tori talking about kind of hitting lefts and rights and stuff like that, or especially rights, I guess you were saying, it's maybe that opportunity for that slicer out there too. It seems like a lot of times you see slicers. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go kind of wrong there, but quite often you see that individual that tends to throw that club probably a little bit more out on the top. So the whole sequencing is probably a little bit off. So rather than feeling like that club starting to kind of travel down or the shaft starting to travel down, it probably travels more outward. So
yes, again, golf is a learned activity, and it takes it, until you have some experience with it, it's hard to know where the club face is. Club face has got to be open to the right for the ball to slice or start to the right. And how do you fix that? How do you make that club face be somewhere that's not open? And it's really hard because we play beside the ball. If we played it behind the ball somehow, it'd be a little bit easier to feel that, but we play beside it. So, again, Matt's trying to create some speed, which at our age, that's the deal, right? I can't create any speed. I can't move my body hardly at all. So that's a big thing. And then with that, can we get the club face so the ball kind of starts online?
Right. Yeah, they're talking ball rollbacks. I'm trying to talk ball roll forwards. So, but
There's your tip of the day.
yeah,
Speed, club face.
speed.
Get that club face, right? We talk about this. Get that club face going left. Club face has got to go left. How do you do that? You gotta turn it, spin it, not let it open. Any way you can do that to feel the ball go left at first. And I'm in the opinion of once you can get that club face more square, that over the top move, it's easier to get rid of that, in my opinion.
Right. And and you're thinking of that, and that's like, it's kind of hard seated position once again. But I was, even when I'm getting the club on back, and let's say I've even got to almost where I've got, let's say, left arm's almost getting close to parallel, a little bit hip high, and you might be able to kind of see an individual's forearm even once again, and it might be kind of facing outward, towards the camera right now, as if you're here, probably a little upward and up. And that's the other thing, as far as I'm starting to get that pressure down once again, I can almost feel like that forearm spinning downward. Which also, like I say, if I think of getting that palm kind of facing back down towards the ball once again, you can almost feel your whole forearm spinning, back towards the ball once again, which is also going to get that club face
right
shut or closed. I mean,
right.
It's more square, get that toe going more left, as you just kind of mentioned
right.
once again. So, like I say, both being able to kind of pinch that ball, but also get that club face square, which is how you'd be able to pinch that ball.
Over square it. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
get
it going right. I mean, you got to get that lead hand, right? If you're a right hander, you got to get that lead hand going this way.
Right.
Right. So knuckles up, knuckles down, palm up, knuckles down, palm up. If you wear a glove, get that marker, foot joint tilus, whatever it is, get that going at the ground sooner.
Right.
And if you do that, you can see where the club face is going to be aimed more to the left. And it is a learned trait. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
You might have friends that, they just have some experience in doing it. And the swing may look funky. Again, the golf ball has no idea who's hitting it, has no idea what the swing is looking like. It only knows impact. So get that face,
right.
At first, if that's an issue, get that face going a different direction. I mean, change your ball flight. Work really hard at changing your ball flight. You will be amazed if you always hit it to the right and you hit about 5 to the left, how your confidence changes. But again, it's a learned trait. It takes some time, and people who make it look easy have put a lot of work into it. It's not easy for anybody.
Right.
Ask any tour player, ask anybody who shoots 100, but it is a learned trait.
And sometimes you got to do the extremes. So some of the things like you just mentioned there, It's like try to be silly with it,
Yes.
Because obviously, like we've talked before, perception, reality, all you got to do is look at video, and it's kind of like, I think I'm doing that, but I'm not even close to doing that. So it's like
feels versus reels.
Yeah.
And again, we're in a great technology change where all our phones video, so you can kind of see what's going on. So
that's not a bad idea, even for people as far as, before we even get a golf lesson. If you're kind of an avid player, been out there a little bit, it's kind of helpful if you do have some video, some stuff that you could even bring to your instructor to kind of help you. Because one thing I'm sure you do, as well as most instructors, is they probably will have a little brief discussion with you and talk a little bit about your history and some of the things that are happening. And some people I don't think are very cognizant of really truly what's going on, as far as like truly shot patterns. I hear quite often they say, well, I got to go in both directions. Okay, I understand that. But do you have any patterns at all? Is there certain things, or is there anything you fear? Or is there, you thin it, you hit it heavy. Is it high? Is it low? Does it go left? Does it go right? And so they don't kind of have a pretty good handle on that. So maybe if nothing else, maybe take some videos every once in a while,
Sure.
See what's going on. So anything that kind of help a little bit to kind of get that history, because it's just going to hopefully give them a little bit more ammunition to try to get that solution for you. So
yes. Chris, what do you think?
Yes, great idea.
Anyway.
So I don't know. Well, I think as usual, I don't know all the fancy terms, but we've got Facebook. You can subscribe.
Like us on Facebook.
Subscribe us on YouTube.
And Spotify.
And something on Spotify. And I'm Chris Larson.
We're going to need media training.
Yes, we are.
I guarantee you Chris Larson is somewhere right now just dying laughing.
Go to Fargo Golf. Check out our social media sites. Go to fargogolf.net.
Get your tee time.
Get your tee time now online 3 days in advance. Like I said, you still got to kind of be progressive with that. Get after it. Get on it early, because tee times are still filling fast. And I don't think that's going to change as we move into the fall season. So got some great weather. Golf courses, I think, are only going to continue to get better as they're even kind of right now, I think, thinking the grass is like going, oh, a little reprieve, cooler temps, a little bit less traffic just because the times are getting shorter. Yeah, so looking for some couple good months. Greg said it here. Golf season's not even close to being over. So
I think we're like 40 hole-in-ones now. So let's see if we can play enough golf. Let's try to get to let's go 60. Let's see if we can get 60 hole-in-ones this year at Fargo Parks.
and one of them is going to be Tori.
Tori
And Chris.
Tori is going to get hers first.
How good would that be?
And Chris won't have any.
How good would that be?
Then I would play golf. Then I'd be hooked.
You got to
Good
get her
job,
up to
man.
Zag playing on
Good
the
job,
big
man.
holes,
Yep.
the soccer
right.
holes,
Oh, we could do that too.
foot golf holes. All right, everybody. Well, thanks. Tune in next week. Hopefully, we're going to have some good stuff. Maybe we'll even have some videos of Miss Tori striping it using some of those tips that Greg just gave out. So. All right. Take care. Hope to see you all in the links.